How we doing, everybody? This is Movie Monday with Brad, and today I'm going to be talking about some movies I just watched from last week that I want to talk about in the video. So let's get to it. So the first one on this list is a 2009 comedy horror film, Drag Me to Hell. Drag Me to Hell is just this really fun, over-the-top, gory, really silly PG-13 horror film that Sam Raimi comes back as he did the Evil Dead films. Now he's going back to more of his comedy, crazy horror routes, and it's just awesome, and I really enjoy it. But I will say this, if you are not a horror fan, I don't know if you'll truly enjoy it, because I think this is one of those things where it talks about the cliches and exploits everything that is kind of bad in the horror film business, but it makes it super funny. But it also has some pretty good scares in there that definitely made me jump, and I was always invested in our characters because they're just developed enough where it doesn't over bombard the story, as more of the events take up more of the characters' decisions. And it has a nice message in it that is very simple and is in your face, but I really enjoyed this film, so check it out if you are a horror fan. The next one on this list is the 2010 remake of Alice in Wonderland. I'm going to be doing a video coming up about all the Disney live-action remakes of the animated films list, especially when Mulan comes out, the new one. I'll make a big list of all of those ones. And this film is awful. And I'm telling you, so awful. And I think it's because I never really liked the original Alice in Wonderland cartoon. I really thought it had a bunch of narrative problems, and you don't really care about anything. Just the visuals themselves are nice to look at, but other than that, I thought it was just really boring and just kind of dull in my opinion. And maybe that's just how the book goes, but I felt as though in this remake, everything is CGI and everything looks bad. This is one of the worst looking films I probably have ever seen. I mean, sure, a lot of it's dated, but even then, they had much better films with tons of CGI come out, and they didn't look like this. This is just a crapshoot. All the characters are extremely annoying. I mean, Alice is so boring, and the script is so horrendous. I roll my eyes at almost every line that was out. Please just don't watch Alice in Wonderland. This is a terrible film, and that's all I gotta say about it. I have watched another Disney film, 1959 Sleeping Beauty, and I did not enjoy this. It seems like this one and Cinderella are just the weakest princess films, as I have two more to watch, but I really think Sleeping Beauty is so terrible. I mean, you have the most generic, boring prince, and he just does nothing in the whole film. I wish this movie was just about these three fairies or godmothers or whatever they are. I think they would have made it so much more interesting, because every time they're on screen, they have so much charm and likability. They have some really fun moments together. But when it's not that, it's just this boring, uninteresting, just simple fairy tale. And sometimes simple fairy tales work in films. But the problem is, it just feels like it just rushes through the whole thing. Like, how does Princess Aurora already in love with this dude that she just met, or he's in love with her? It makes no sense. And be like, Brad, it's a kids movie, blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of a fantastic kids film, so please don't ever shove that in my face, considering this is a really boring, bland, and really doesn't hold up, especially in today's times when you have much better princess films that have come out since then. Next film is a Martin Scorsese 90s film called Cape Fear. It was a remake of the original Cape Fear, which I have yet to see, so I'm pretty interested in watching it. But this film I really think is underrated because it has such a great cast, and when you have the legendary Martin Scorsese handling this like B-movie kind of intense thriller, it makes it all more enjoyable than just being a generic whatever kind of movie. And that's what I think critics probably would have saw back then. I mean, it does have a level of cheese that you may not be on board with, but I most certainly enjoyed it because it had this Hitchcock aspect to it. And those of you who have seen Hitchcock movies, you have been blessed, because he is definitely the master of suspense and just creating these awesome thrillers. And that's what I kind of found that Scorsese might have gotten inspiration from. Robert De Niro is excellent in the film, and I think it's one of his most underrated roles, as he did get a nomination at the Academy for this movie, but it never feels like it's ever talked about among the other great performances of De Niro. It was always on edge throughout this entire movie, and it was just super enjoyable. I mean, you gotta watch this. So definitely trying to get some more Scorsese films in, because I want to make a Scorsese ranked list next year, so we'll see how that goes. Next and last film on this list is directed by Joel Schumacher, who passed away very, very recently, so rest in peace to him, and condolences to his family. He made not a lot of movies that I've seen. I've seen Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, and those are pretty bad. But he did make this film. It was a black comedy horror film called The Lost Boys. This film is very influential, and I had never seen it yet until today, and I was just really odd about this film because it's just so enjoyable. It's a very easy to watch, really goofy movie that knows exactly what it's doing, because the script is really funny and it's cheesy and some of the stuff just doesn't make any sense at all, but I was never bored at all and was always entertained, especially in all the horror aspects that still really do hold up, especially in its creepy imagery that still stands out to this day, which is a really good job considering it is an 80s film. I really enjoyed many of the characters in this film, and I thought there was different sides, so I thought it was really enjoyable. Of course, it's very simple, and some of the subplots aren't really fleshed out, and some are kind of left in the dust, but I do think it's an enjoyable film that you probably should just check out, because it's just a load of fun and definitely had a lot of influence. If you've seen this film, you'll be like, wow, like you can see a lot of films kind of copied some sort of this format in a way, but I really enjoyed this film, so definitely check it out. Okay guys, so those were all the films that I watched in the past week. I'll be trying to get more Movie Mondays out every week, and maybe even change it to Movies of the Month. We'll see how that goes. If you guys haven't already, please like, share the video. Please subscribe if you haven't. It really means a lot to everyone who's subscribed, and just really support my channel. You guys have been absolutely amazing, and I appreciate you guys so much. And if you like what you see, I'll see you guys next video.